Good morning. I'm Michelle. This is Michelle's Garden Talk. Today is May 4th, 2023, and this is episode 7, Gardening in Zone 6A. I believe it's 6A. Yeah, I don't think I'm 6B. I think I'm 6A. There's not much difference between the two zones, and it's just a quick sweet potato update on how mine are doing. Yes, we are having unusually cold weather. It's not time to plant these, but I'm still propagating and getting them ready. And I think what I did last time, I showed you in episode 6. I'm looking at notes over here on the sides. It's been like a Monday all week, so little scatterbrained. Um, so I took my sweet potato and I put the toothpicks in it, and I put it in a plastic container in some water. It took about a month. I don't know if you can see. Do you see these roots? Yeah, there's some nice healthy roots there. Okay, after I get all my plants I want to get off of them, I'll just put this whole thing in the ground. Okay, I'll just plant this whole thing. It already has a nice set of roots. It's doing good. Okay, now I have already put this over here for a minute. I'm doing these in my kitchen windowsill. Um, Sweet potatoes are not like your white or your red potatoes, okay? They like it hot, humid, and warm. Well, I guess that hot and warm would be the same. They like it hot and humid. They're more of a tropical potato. Um, due to our iffy weather situation lately, like I said, we had snow night before last in some counties near us. So these are way too cold. It's way too cold for these to go outside. What I'm probably going to do this year is just fill up a bunch of containers in my greenhouse, which it can handle that heat. As long as there's enough water and they're fertilized and the soil's loose enough to grow, they'll do really well in the greenhouse. They like it tropical. So, yep, sweet potatoes in the greenhouses this year, but they store really well. So, like once you harden them off, they store really well all winter. So, but what I did so far, now these are only, look at these roots. Oh, I forgot a leaf. Take that off. Okay. You see these roots? These are only a week, some of these are a week and a half old. And look at all these. So they're almost ready. Again, you don't want to keep leaves in the water. It promotes all kinds of bad stuff. Just take the leaves off. I'll show you. Um, these are almost ready to go into sub-containers. I use like a 1-inch flower pot, and I'll put 3 or 4 in there because my big containers I plant in, they're like, they're the poly resin planters, but they're like half barrel size, so they're really large, and I'll put 3 or 4 plants in this barrel, and plenty of room. I probably could put one more, but that's what I put in there per half barrel. So if you're doing like a 5-gallon bucket, I would do at least 2. Um, plenty of soil there. Um, let's see here. So I have these, and they'll be ready to go into 1-gallon pots until it's warm enough. And the way it's looking, I'm looking at least another month before it gets warm enough. Now, this time last year, I was putting these in the greenhouse already, but this weather is a little off this year. I'm sure everyone's noticing. Um, so these will have to go into a temporary flower pot until then. It's too early to plant them in the green. Even in a greenhouse, they can get hit by the frost. So now, what I do is I let them get about this long. Nice healthy start. And like I said, I'm not gentle. Okay, let me see. Okay, see? Look at it. Try to get it close up here. I just take this, see how it's coming out, and I grab it as close to the potato as possible, and I yank it off. Okay? And then I take my kitchen shears, or whatever garden shears you want to use, and I clip off all the leaves that are going to be submerged in the water because I want roots. I'm not growing these leaves, so they don't need to be there. my cat's watching me. Okay, this one's yep, good to go. You know what? And take off the big, if there's a big leaf, take it off. That way it concentrates on the roots, not the leaves. They'll regrow. It's not a problem. Okay? And then you just shove them in the water, and a week later, that one's kind of short. I'm going to have to get a smaller plant. And a week later, you'll have a whole plant. Do one more here. If I can see there, it's just you grab them off, and that's pretty good. There's a new growth there. All the leaves, and then you just shove it in there. And when they get nice healthy roots, and if it's ready to plant, go ahead and plant them. And these are highly decorative. If now that you know what a sweet potato vine looks like, go to your Cracker Barrel. Okay, go to your outside the doctor's office. They have those fancy planters with the 3 different or 4 different kind of plants in one big urn-looking pot. But often you will see something green and viney coming off of it, growing in there, and 90% of them have purple and they have green ones. It's a sweet potato plant. Yes, if you dig those up, I guarantee you at the end of the season there's a sweet potato in that flower pot. But they use them for landscaping also. I don't have the time to landscape. I wish I did, but I don't. But yeah, these are, and they're viney. So if you wanted to, you very well could, and have a little something extra to eat at the end of the season. They're very hardy. Like I said, no special care. I just rip them off. Okay, rip them off, and trim the leaves. My cat. And stick them in the water. Put it back in my windowsill, and that's all there is to it. And when it comes time to plant, I would almost, if you are going to do outside, most garden plants stop growing when it hits 50 degrees at night. So when it drops to 50 at night, Fahrenheit, here in Zone 6, that's usually when the season's over. And when it gets over 50, that's usually when it begins. Now, if you have a greenhouse, you can fudge that a little bit. Starting next week, it'll start getting a little bit warmer. And I'm thinking next week I'll be able to put these in the greenhouse because it'll be 70s, 70s during the day. I do think it's going to drop to like 40 or 50s at night, which is a bit iffy. But being that they're in a greenhouse and there's no wind and the heat from the day should maintain, they should be fine. They should be fine. You're not being a very good girl. Do you see that? There's a cat. She's trying to eat my sweet potatoes. Animals like them. I don't encourage it. Supposedly every ounce of the sweet potato is edible. Although I've never had a craving to munch on the leaves. So, if you have, let me know. But until then, that's what I'm doing. I'm just getting ready. Oh, strawberry plants are growing. Believe it or not, in this cold, rainy weather, they're growing. And they have flowers on them. I don't know whether those flowers are going to make it and produce a berry, but they are definitely growing and improving. I have a kitten, and she is dying to get to me. But just get stuff ready. Start with your cold weather plants now. your cabbage, your broccoli, your cauliflower. I did plant some carrots, and while the greens may freeze or get frosted, which is bad, you need those to photosynthesize and grow, but they're not even going to come up for like a week at least. So by then, we'll be fine. So, and they're in a raised box, and I did the Atomic Reds and the Tender Sweet carrots this year. So I do want to do some rainbow carrots, so we'll see how that goes. But I'll be going on a trip next week, so I'm trying to squeeze in this stuff. And I've not done a greenhouse and garden update in a while. This year's weather's been really iffy. It is so windy outside right now. There's no way I could have done this video. There's just, you wouldn't have heard a thing. But here's your sweet potatoes. Okay, you plant them in. And I don't even bother messing with them. Once they're planted in a planter, I don't mess with them until late September, early October. And all I do is I dig down very carefully into the soil until I see one. And if it looks like it's big enough to harvest or worth harvesting, I'll go ahead and pull the whole plant. And then I'll throw the plant in my compost and harvest the potatoes. And just so that you know, when you do harvest these potatoes, like I said, I have an old banquet table with a particle boarding top, and it had gotten ruined, and people were throwing these tables out. Well, I took the wood off as a metal frame, the old banquet tables. I took the frame, the wood off the frame, and I stretched chicken wire, coated chicken wire across the top with zip ties, and that is my drying table, wool table, herb drying table. I have a bunch of them. They're so useful. But when I harvest the sweet potatoes, now don't wash them. Just kind of shake off the loose dirt. Don't worry about getting all the dirt off because the skins are very tender at that point. Just put your potatoes. Okay, you want your table in the shade. Okay, dry and in the shade. So if you look at carport or a canopy you can put over them, or just keep them in the greenhouse, it has to be dry. And it cannot be full sun, so shade. About 10 days on this table, they should dry out. They get that nice sweet potato flavor. They're not, you don't pull them and they don't taste like sweet potatoes right away. Okay, you need to cure your sweet potatoes by letting them dry out and harden off. Okay, and when that's done, after the 10 days and they're dry, remember, don't let them get rained on. Go ahead, with your hand, you can lightly brush off excess dirt. But I wouldn't try to get them produce aisle clean until you go to eat them. And I just keep mine in a milk crate because I can stack the milk crates, and the airs in the milk crates let the holes in the milk crates let the air get through. So in my pantry, I just stack my milk crates. And I have one for my garlic, one for my sweet potatoes, one for my white potatoes. I got a bunch of those. That's how I store them all year long. In fact, I still have a 5-gallon bucket of sweet potatoes left because we had such a good harvest last year. So I'm going to have to. Do you see her? She's so bad. She's so bad. I'm going to have to replant some of those. There's no way I can eat all of them. I'll keep a bunch, but to eat until next season's over. But there's just a lot. But she's so bad. So I'm not talking to myself. Sweet pea. Sweet pea. What are you doing? I promise there was a cat there. But she's funny. I don't normally let her on my counters, but she's kind of getting away with it while I'm video recording. In a nutshell, that's me. And you can find my updates on YouTube under Independent Fiber Farmer, on Instagram under Independent Fiber Farmer, on Facebook under Michelle Rom or MJR's Equine and Fiber Farm. Until next time, next update, better weather. I'll see you later. Bye.